Hey everybody, you're watching CAD Roll Hunter, and I've got a box of Canadian quarters to hunt. This one from Emanuel's Workbench in Canada's capital region, Ottawa. So way back in the Christmas holidays, you know that I met up with Emanuel's Workbench and we traded each box of dimes, nickels, and quarters, and I finally had the opportunity to hunt the quarter box right now, so we're going to get into this. This one's interesting. You can see the date on here is December the 6th, 2021. And this is from a transit authority in Canada's capital region. This is stamped Gatineau, Quebec. If I open it up, you'll see that these are machine-wrapped rolls, but these are not the ARP rolls that we are used to seeing in Canada like this, where the mint is essentially pulling out all of the old nickel and replacing it with the newer steel cents. So we could find anything in here. It's going to be a good representation of what's circulating. These are essentially bus fares that are then rolled up and put into rolls. So we could still find silver potentially. We could still find color. We can find all sorts of things. We won't know until we get into it. And again, a big thanks to Emanuel's Workbench for orchestrating a trade with me. If you haven't already subscribed to his channel for good Canadian coin roll hunting, coin collecting content, please do that. I've got a link down below so you can link to his channel and watch his stuff. He's got lots of great content. If you're a regular viewer of the channel, you know that we are also doing a quarter hunt and album fill with this Lighthouse Vista album. This is episode number 8. And we've made great progress on the album, but we've got a lot of silver we need to catch up on. We've actually got 2 albums. I've got everything prior to 1953 and another album, and then this one here is what we're filling up. This is what we've had so far. We've got some silver, but you can see lots of spots in the 50s and 60s that we still need to get. And otherwise, our album looks really good. There's only a handful of spots that we need to find, like this 1973 RCMP large bust. If we found that, I would be ecstatic. It's a rarity for sure, and one that I've never seen. We still need to get that low mint 1991. That's another one that if we found I'd be ecstatic because it's only minted at 459,000. But in any case, we'll be looking for any upgrades and see if we can make this album any better. It's already looking fantastic, but we really want to see if we can find some silver in this transit box. And just before we get started, I just took a look at the enders, and we have at least one color ender here, so that's good. It is the Peregrine Falcon in the Legendary Nature series, so that's a good start anyway. I see a wide variety of things and a few little older ones, but we'll get in and we'll see what we got. Right off the bat, roll number 1, we got a really dark edge. I kind of got excited, but as I went to go and pull it out, it is just a, I don't know, burned or fire damaged 2009, but that is the look of some old tarnished silver, and so I got excited for just a moment, so not yet. I'm just getting started in this roll, and I want to highlight something I'm seeing here, and I've seen this before in Emanuel's videos whenever he's had a transit box, because he's had these a few times. And look at the edges of the coins. They are in really rough shape. So this 2014 doesn't look terrible, but look at the rim damage that you see. There's nicks and indents, and you can see them along all of these coins. They're all in very rough shape. And I think what's happened is that the coin rolling machine or counting machine they're using to get these into these wrappers is damaging these coins pretty significantly. And it's going to be a real shame, I think, if we found anything in here that was particularly valuable or in otherwise great condition, because I think it looks like we're getting that kind of damage on all of the coins. Every rim in this first roll seems to have that damage. It's really unfortunate. So we're still going to have a look. We might still find something for the album, but we'll be hard-pressed to upgrade anything in the album if everything in here is going to be damaged. And I'll just keep my eyes peeled and see, but that's something to look for, just something I noted right off the bat. Roll number 2, and we've got a Hope for a Green Future 2017. Pretty circulated condition, and of course, even if it was in nice condition, the rim damage alone wouldn't make this one worth keeping. Same roll, a pretty nice looking 1989. It's in good condition. You can see it's got some contact marks on there, and of course, it's got that rim damage too, and some contact marks on the obverse, but I'll set it aside just in case. I can't recall what our 89 looks like in the album. But we'll set that one aside. Otherwise, the field looks really nice. Here's a couple of interesting coins we have in here. I see a 2012. This will be one of those War of 1812. Again, this one looks pretty decent with some contact marks though. And there is Brock. It's the non-color version. But again, the rim damage is pretty considerable. I'll stop mentioning that because I think that's going to be the reality on all of these coins. And there's not much we can do about it. Of course, if we find silver, we won't mind so much. So that's really what we're going to be looking for in this box. But I just saw behind that a 2005. This one actually looks pretty decent with the Canada flag. Sorry, 2002 with the P composition mark. Roll number 4 brings our first 1973 RCMP Royal Canadian Mounted Police Quarter. And we want to take a look at this one to see if it is the large or the small bust. It's got some scratches, but put it under the scope and we can see, again, the two telltale signs. The beads are fairly distant from the rim, and there's a lot of detail in the hair. This is the very common small bust. We're always looking for the large bust. You would see less detail in the hair. The bust is larger, and those rim beads are right up against the rim. 2 coins later, another pretty nice looking 1989 in really nice condition, except for all the rim damage that I promised I wouldn't mention again. But it's a real shame because otherwise this coin would probably be a keeper. Even though it's got a little bit of damage, it doesn't have a lot of circulation wear. Same roll, and we found our first nice Olympic coin from 2008, and this one is the ice dancing or figure skating. I can never remember which. But that's actually a pretty decent looking coin. Roll number 5 brings our first colorized coin of the hunt. It's an 1812, War of 1812, I should say, de Salaberry. This is going to be from 2013, I think, and that's correct. And so we'll set that aside, our first color for the board. And a little further back, we've got another colorized coin. It's a 2004, and if you watch my channel and see my quarter hunts, you know that this one's very common. It was the first colorized quarter in general circulation. And this is in much better condition than we often see. This one has like the full enamel in there. And if I flip it over, we'll get a sense of how that looks. That's actually a pretty beautiful looking coin. We'll set that aside. That's a great find. And right behind it, we've got the 2015 Poppy. It's the non-colorized version. And I think we're still looking in our album for the color Poppy. That's a spot we could definitely fill today. So we'll keep our eyes peeled. We want to find that color Poppy in this box for sure. Very last coin of that roll, I had noticed the older Queen Elizabeth with the tiara ender, and I flip it over, and it's a fairly decent 1979, but it's got some issues, and it's not a keeper necessarily, but it would have been close if not for some of the damage that we see on the coin. Roll 7 gives us that 2005 Alberta commemorative. It's a beautiful coin. You can see the flowers in the foreground, the mountains. That looks to be some kind of an oil tower and some cows. There are lots of ranches in Alberta, so it kind of pays homage to a lot of the different elements of Alberta's economy and lifestyle. Another really nice 2015 Poppy, but again, not the colored version that we need. Roll number 10 gives us our 7th US quarter. It's a 1980 from Denver, pretty worn. Roll number 11, this one's pretty circulated, but you can see by the obverse the word Canada up there in large, bold font. It's a little bit different than the other ones, so I think we're going to have another color coin here. And this is the 2008 Armistice. That is a great coin. Lots of color still on that one. That's our 3rd color of the box. Same roll, another really nice looking commemorative 2005. You can see the veterans on that one. If I flip it over, we see the Queen, and we've got that P composition mark. It's a pretty clean looking coin with just slight rim damage from that rolling machine that is damaging all these coins. It's a shame, really. Same roll, a pretty decent 1971. We'll see if this one might upgrade. Some scuffs and such, but I don't know if our 71 is quite as nice. We'll find out. Roll number 12, and we've got a 1990. We're just 1 year off that key date, 1991. Roll number 13 gives us a gorgeous 2004. This is our 4th colorized and our 2nd 2004. And you can see the fields on this coin are in really exceptional condition. Same roll, we got another colorized. It's our first Bison from 2011 Legendary Nature Series. Roll number 14 gives us our oldest US coin. It's a 1966, just a couple years off of silver. Of course, the US minted 90% silver quarters up until 1964, so this isn't quite old enough. Roll number 16, we've got a men's hockey color. This is a 2009 coin. It's commemorating the gold medal in the 2002 Winter Olympic Games. We want to check this one, of course, to see if it's got the raised 2 or the incused 2. There's a variation here, and one is more rare than the other. So we'll throw it up. And we'll take a peek here, and you can see that this is the incused 2. That 2 is set into the leg or ankle of the hockey player. So that is not the rare one. We want to see the raised 2. I've never found one yet, but they're out there for sure, and I know other coin roll hunters have found them, so we'll keep our eyes open for that. Same roll, and we got ourselves a key date, 1970. This is a low mintage. This is a key date here. It's actually in pretty nice condition. A little mark at the top. I think that's just some gunk. Yeah, it just wiped right off. That one's pretty nice. We'll flip it over and we'll see the queen. So there's some circulation marks, but that is a low mintage key date 1970 Canadian quarter. And I'll show you what we found at the end of that roll. I thought we had a foreign coin in here. Look at that smooth edge, but when I look at it, it's a really worn 1980, and the edge reading has been just worn off completely. So it looked like it was a foreign, but it was not. Roll number 17, and we found something I've never personally found in a Canadian coin roll hunt, and that is a U.S. bicentennial commemorative. This one out of Denver, 1776, 1976, and we flip it over, and we see the drummer boy. That's actually a really cool find here in Canada. Not something I have found, so that is really fantastic. That's a 46-year-old American coin. And a commemorative at that. So really nice find. Roll number 18, we've got our first provincial quarter. There we have it, the 25-cent Saskatchewan. If I flip it over, we see the 125 years of Confederation. It's commemorating 1867, 1992. We often find these coins in really nice condition because these were set aside. They were given out in sets. A lot of banks were giving them to customers. But again, this one has been pretty damaged by these coin rolling machines in the Transit Authority. And here's another coin in this same roll. The obverse here, we see the Queen in the modern portrait. It doesn't have a composition mark, and it doesn't have the Royal Canadian Mint logo on it, which tells me this is likely a commemorative. We've got to flip it over to see what it is. And it is the commemorative Canadian flag. That is fantastic. 2015, got a little bit of wear, but that's a beautiful coin to find. We always like to see that coin. Roll 20, we got our second provincial quarter here. This one is Nova Scotia, and again, it's not in great shape. I'm not going to keep it. All of these coins are probably going to go back because of this damage that we can see, but it's nice to see a provincial quarter. It's just too bad that it's been defaced in this way by this machine. Same roll, I got a 1978 under the scope. This one is the small denticle variety. You can see these denticles on the side are just like little beads almost right up to the edge. And the large denticle variety, they protrude somewhat more than that. The small denticle variety is supposed to be the less common one, but I find them all the time. I really don't know that they're that much less common. This one's not going to upgrade our album. It's not terrible, but I think we've got a better edition in the album already. Roll number 21, we got ourselves a really dark edge. We'll take a look and see what that is. It's really hard to know. It could be really tarnished silver, or it could be another damaged coin. So we see Queen Elizabeth. We'll flip it over. And it's just a really dirty 1980 with some really interesting toning. I'm not sure what happened. It could be fire damaged, chemical damaged, we don't know, but it's not a keeper for sure. And the ender on this was another provincial. We'll see what that is. That is the British Columbia. Roll number 24 is going to give us our 9th color coin. It's a 2006. This is the breast cancer pink ribbon. And right behind it, another 1966 US. This one's in much better condition than the other one, so I'll have a look in my collection to see if this might upgrade what I've got. That's not too bad for a 1966 in a coin roll. Roll number 25, and we have another 2008 colorized quarter. This is the Armistice commemorative, our second of the hunt. Roll number 26, and we've got more color for the board. This time it is a War of 1812 featuring Laura Secord. It's in pretty decent condition. We'll set that aside. In any case, it is color for the board. Roll number 27, and I just want to see if you can see what I'm seeing here. You can see these edges are all chewed up. You can see marks all over them. They're just, and if you roll them around, whatever machine is rolling these coins or sorting these coins or counting these coins, whatever it's doing, is really chewing these quarters up. And you can just, again, you can see it's like there are sharp marks, like almost like a blade has cut it, and every single coin has the same damage. Even if the coin is in great shape, this one's circulated but not terrible, it's the rims and the edges that are getting really, really chewed up. Roll number 31, and we found ourselves a really nice looking 2005 Alberta commemorative that seems to have been spared from most of the damage, so this might be a keeper. We'll take a look. Well, we are going to have ourselves a spot filler in the book today for sure. We've got that 2015 Poppy, the colorized version that we know we need for the album. The only question is, are we going to find one that's a little bit better? This one, of course, you can see all of that chewed up damage along the rim, and of course the enamel has started to come off too. It's not in great shape, but it's going to fill a spot for now. And it's just a real shame just how mistreated these coins have become. Roll number 32 brings us what otherwise would be a really nice looking 1977. I'll flip it over and you can just see the field here is pretty good, but this one has not been spared the damage. I don't know how much of the damage on the face of the coin might be from the rolling machine or if it's all just the edges, but you can see something has taken like huge gouges out of the rims of these coins. It's really significant damage. So this one's just going to go back. It's not going to upgrade our album. We're going to want to find something better. I think we already have a really nice 1977. Roll number 35, and another example of a coin that looks like it might have been largely uncirculated. Look at this 1984. Really nice. And this is just a shame that it's got some damage, I think, from this situation. Roll 38, and we have found ourselves another of the Legendary Nature series. This one is the Orca, and this means we're going to get all three because we've already found the Bison, and our very next roll has the Peregrine Falcon Ender. So we've got all three colorized versions from that series. And here is our colorized Ender in roll number 39. And we'll set that aside. It's color for the board. That is, again, the third in this series. All three we have in color. Roll number 44, and we've got our second Orca. Same roll, and I saw the 2015 on this side before I flipped it over, just to find that we have another colorized Poppy, and this one is in much better shape. It still has all of the rim damage that these coins are exhibiting, but the color on the Poppy is really, really nice. So that's the one we're going to use for sure, unless we found another one. I think this is the one that's going in the book. Roll number 50, very last roll of the box, our last opportunity to do an edge check for silver, and it looks like we are shut out. No silver in the transit box. I had high hopes that that might have salvaged this box with all of the damaged coins, but not this box. If I see anything interesting, I'll pull you in. Otherwise, we will do a wrap-up of this box supplied by Emanuel's Workbench. Well, a few coins in, we did find another color one. I won't be keeping it, but it is a 2006 breast cancer pink ribbon. It's in pretty rough shape, as you can see, and most of the enamel has been scratched off, but it's another color coin for the board, just not one I'm going to add to the collection. And this box wasn't quite done. Second last coin of the box, second last coin of this roll is another 2004 color Poppy. We'll give you a wrap up in just a sec. So we've reached the end of that box. Big thanks to Emanuel's Workbench for sending that all the way from Ottawa. Much appreciated. And here's what we ended up getting. We got 29 US quarters. The two most notable ones, we got a pretty nice 1966 I'll check against my collection, and my first ever bicentennial quarter from Coin Roll Hunting, which is pretty cool too. We finished up with 20 colorized quarters, not too bad. We got 6 of those 2004, including a couple of really nice ones. This one on the top looks really, really good. A couple of the 2006 pink ribbon. We got a couple of the 2008, again, another nice one on top there. We got the men's hockey color, not the raised 2. We got all 3 of the Legendary Nature, so 2 of the Orca and 1 each of the Bison and the Peregrine Falcon. We got a couple of colorized War of 1812. We got the Canada flag, which is a great one, and we finally got a couple of the colorized poppy, and I'm pretty sure that is going to fill a spot in the album today. So we at least got something out of this hunt. Other ones that are notable, we got 4 provincial quarters, including this nicer Nova Scotia one on the top. It's got some marks, of course. We got 1 Olympic coin that might be worth keeping, and I'll take a look. It still has all that rim damage. A couple decent of the non-color poppy. A really nice looking Alberta 2005 commemorative, as well as one of the veterans. And we got a 2002 with the Canada maple leaf on it. And some others that might have been keepers if they didn't have all the damage on them. That 71, a really nice 78 and a 79. That 81 and a couple of 89s. Now we'll check them all against the album. I think we might not need any of them, but we'll find out in a moment. And one that we'll keep for sure, which is that 1970 low mint. So we'll just get the book and we will see how we made out. So we've gone through the book and we do have an addition. That 2015 colorized poppy was a great addition to the album. So I'm really happy about that. That one's great. And after we found the first one that didn't look so good, I thought, well, if we got to put that in the book to fill a spot, so be it. But we found an even nicer one, so that's good. And as it turned out, we actually did upgrade a couple of coins. And that is the 1989 and the 1984. So there's the 89. It's got a couple of issues, but it was better than the one that we had. And then on the next page, the 1984, it's got a couple of dings as well, but it was just a much nicer coin than the one that we had in here. So we have now 144 of 178 spots. We've got 4 of the 17 silver. You can see them here on this page. We still want to get more silver. We still have more spaces to fill, but we're going to have to get another box to see if we can make any progress. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a like. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please do so. It's CAD Roll Hunter. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you again soon.